you are What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Star Like Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is our 300th episode. Wow. And we are still friends, I think.
We're here.
We're here. Well,
oh, damn, he's back.
We were
I'm
friends. Well, it's March 26th, 2025. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. For 300 episodes. We got Scott Solo here.
What's up, nerds? For 294, I think, roughly.
300. You've been
here.
Yeah. Grand Admiral Franz.
Yo. And I hosted like 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah. I think I missed maybe 2 episodes out of the entire 300.
I think so. And we've also had a couple where you were kicked out. Because we had that's back whenever you were at your shop and the cops showed up and
reminiscing. Yes, the cops did. Well, the cops didn't show up for me. Some guy was
yeah.
They were chasing some dude. Yeah, that was fun. I have to we have to dig that out of the archives and roll that, and I could do like commentary over it. This is what was really happening, and do like a reenactment. You know?
Oh yeah, we could do cop style. We could grab a couple of portable.
Exactly.
Record it. Yeah.
Well, before we get into Star Wars and all the stuff that we have planned for today and see what's going on, and everybody's being shout out in the pit. First off, thank you everybody who's saying congrats on 300. We do this because this is a community. We love it. Hopefully for another 300 more. And it doesn't take 8 years to do it because we are almost at the 8-year mark too. In about 2 more weeks, we'll be really.
The math doesn't math, folks, because we used to do it every other week.
Yeah, exactly. We used to be twice a month.
Yeah.
So
my son came and his fiance asked. She started doing the match. Oh, you've been doing this for what, 5 years? No.
Yeah.
Our bad.
But yeah, exactly. So now we switched this weekly program, and it's awesome. I think it works out so much better because when there's no news, we tend to go long-winded on Star Wars anyway, right? But Scott, our Shadow Council is waiting. They're waiting to be shouted out. A big thank you. And of course, don't forget the pit.
Of course. How could I forget the pit? Hey, cheers, everybody. Welcome to our 300th episode. And, without these fine folk right here, we'd probably still be, I don't know, at number 192 or some random number. And that is AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Brandon and Anya Epler, Brian C., Cliff, Commander Bly. This is whiskey, so I might start slurring any minute. Commander Cook, Crystal E, Don the Dad Dorn, Eric Grubb, Gavin Connor from the Holy Hour All Cure Podcast, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Mervine Bolanos, Burns, Matt Logic, Muftak is back, Nicholas Schaefer, and our good pal Ryan from the Star Joes podcast. So if you want to join the Patreon team and take part in some of this fun stuff that we've got coming up, it was because of these people here, these fine folk. They helped us choose what our pit droid's going to look like. That's coming up in the future. If Darth Moocher could just stop sanding for 5 freaking seconds.
I can't. I see a scratch. I have to fix it.
It's all character, man. It's all part of the fun.
Exactly.
Just scan that QR code right there and donate a couple bucks, or go to patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest podcast and donate a couple of bucks. We really appreciate it. It goes right back into this production. I mean, look at this shiny episode 300 logo here. I mean, right?
It's a pretty penny.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. The people on Fiverr are not charging Fiverr. They shouldn't call it Fiverr anymore. I'm kidding.
Am I supposed to be getting paid for this?
So the pit, yeah.
The pit. Okay, so yeah, let's shout out the pit. Who have we got in the pit? We have Alexander Storm.
What's up? Hey, Alex is driving to Toylanta right now from SKN along with Chet. So safe out there, guys, and hope maybe we will hear from them this weekend. Check out SKN. I just want to throw that out there right now. SKN Network. See if we pop on live on one of the panels. So.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
We've also got Commander Bly, the power of 300. This is Sarlacc. That's
nice.
Right. That's right. We're kicking a few of those other people off the ledge with our Anyway, we've got Stu John Jedi in here. Stu John Jedi. Congratulations, my friend. You have won the last off. So just so you're aware, we're going to need you to send an email to you. I'll put the link in the chat right here, and you can send us your email or your address so we can actually send you your wonderful
and your bank account number. So
last 4 digits of your social security number aren't going to be enough. We're going to need the whole social security number.
We're just going to need your PIN.
Yeah, just your ATM, send it, and your PIN.
Last digit. Don't worry about it.
And then Hal Runner Base, also send us an email. Hal Runner Base, I'll put the email address in there for you as well. We got a little runner-up prize for you, so just hang in.
Congrats, guys.
Congratulations, you two. Don the Dad Dorn's in here congratulating us on the 300. We've got Basil G. Yo, what's up, Basil G? I think he's reading your shirt there, Grand Amel Franz. We got Rhino Hobbies. We've got Mando Mike. We've got... issues, lots and lots of issues. I'm scrolling, lots of chatting. We've got Nicholas H in there. What's up, Nicholas? Thank you very much, my friend. We've got Gavin Connor in there as well. Rick Jones. What's up, Rick Jones? Houdini. We've got Meeks. What's up, Meeks?
What's up, man? Full house.
We've got Dr. Brantley in here. We've got Santo 1414 in here. We've got Joey Covarrubias in here.
Sick again. Sick again, Joey.
Called out to a job you don't have.
Yeah, Joey, come on.
What the hell is that?
Wow. Just wow. We got Phantom Menace Dennis in there. We've got Arthur Henderson. What's up, Arthur? Welcome back. Who else have we got? Oh, right. Anybody else? pipe up, and we'll give you a shout out. So welcome everybody.
Commander Blythe says, I recently watched your first YouTube pod. When did you guys start dyeing your beards? Or stop dyeing our beards, right?
Probably stop. Yeah.
I saw that too. The very first one, I was like, wow. So a lot happens in, I think, 5 years on YouTube around that, right? A lot
There was
happens.
a pandemic.
A lot of stress in our lives.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Mando Mooch, how many layers of primer paint and enamel coating? Well, a lot. If you guys are interested in the build of itself, help over to the Tashi Station channel. Link is in the description below. So you can see part 1 and part 2 of the build. Part 3 is coming out really fast. You're going to see the reveal. And of course, you'll be able to see it in person to any events that we were at. So more to come on this channel to find out what SD17, who he is, and what it looks like. So,
Heck yeah.
thank you, Arthur. Where are you? There you are. Thank you. Raising a glass to 300. Thank you very much. I got water. I can't do it. I can't drink.
We'll cover what it was.
All right, guys. Well, what's happening? We've got 27 days to Andor and 24 days to Celebration. So nothing's happening, right? It's the calm before a storm, another Star Wars storm, right? Before we get to sit back and digest another Star Wars show for 4 weeks.
For 4 weeks.
For 4 weeks. And it's funny because
4 movies, man. 4 movies.
But it's only 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's usually 3 months of content for us.
Oh, no. That's
we're
12
go dry.
I mean, yeah. 3 exactly. Yeah. Probably been a double first one. So yeah, but at least 10 weeks of content, right? But I'm actually looking forward to this binge
Me too.
worthy. Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
It's cool for us watching it. It just sucks for content.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It also, usually gets you get one episode. You can watch it a couple of times before you jump in and talk about it. We're going to have a freaking movie to watch. We're only going to be able to watch it once, and then we're going to be talking about it.
We're going to be breaking down a year every episode, like a year in this time frame. And, maybe a lot's going on. I don't know.
I'm really glad they're doing it this way, though, because this takes away the filler episode feel, everything. You kind of, since it's a year at a time, you're really wrapping up a story for the most part, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not, it's taking place a little bit of a time jump.
Right.
Right. So that's pretty neat.
I think with a show like Andor, though, even like I was like revisiting episode, season 1, and as I was watching every episode, I was remembering how we broke it down. Yes, we talked an hour and a half per episode, but we really stretched it. There's a lot of because it's a very highly dialogue driven show. It's very cinematic and there's a lot to talk about. But I think now we're gonna hopefully be overloaded with okay, let's talk about this shit, right?
Yeah,
let's really break it down. I'm really hoping, and because the content is what it is and how they do it, I think they're forced to give you a lot in those blocks. So it's cool. We got the last trailer that they're gonna drop, right? That dropped yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday,
so that's gonna be the official last trailer besides TV spots and whatnot. StarWars.com is leaning very, very heavy on this. I mean, every post they're doing is all Andor. A lot of the same stuff in that trailer, but I think one that the internet is totally exploding on, and Pitt, let me know if you guys have seen this too. There's a scene where in the first trailer we saw Dedra in the hallway, right? And that first trailer a month ago, and then this trailer, it's the same hallway, same doorway, and she's grabbing her neck like she's being choked out. So that got the internet exploding. I mean, the first thing out of my head is someone's force choking her. Holy crap! First thing I want to do is I want to call Chris, because if Vader's in this is it throws the show up on its head in his world, I think, I mean, as I'm looking at it, there's 2 ways we can look at this, right? She's being force choked by somebody, Vader possibly, because it looks good, or she's having a panic attack. You know how they people undo their ties and they try to get air and stuff. The only reason I say that is because of her eye movement. It was kind of sporadic, but I don't and then I start thinking in my head too, and I'll let you guys get your thoughts here. I'm she is being force choked, but by hologram. by distance. You know what I mean? Or a like something where like Vader was in her or somebody's in her head or something like that. Yeah. So Vader, yes or no?
Look at Hellrunner Base really quick.
Yeah,
Hellrunner Base's comment right here. Krennic probably poisoned her. It's a misdirect. Interesting. It would be.
That's another.
We would need a story behind that, because right now, I mean, she's just after Andor. She's not really involved in the whole Death Star anything. So
right.
Yeah.
You know, look, Arthur. Before I get to Chris, I think they want us to think it's Vader. Of course, that's everybody's head is going. As the first thought was that, and then it starts to think about like, well, the showrunners do this, and I always like, well, why not? You know, Chris.
Oh, I would love it to be Vader, but I think they want us to think it's Vader too. If you see a Force choke, I mentioned in the chat, and I know you guys think she's too low level to see Palpatine at all, but via hologram, Yularen has a connection to Palpatine. Yularen will say, "I spoke to Palpatine myself." Yularen's already in Andor, right?
He did.
It's easy. He has her in that room because she knows something. He puts up the hologram to Palpatine. Yularen's in that room with her. It looks like an interrogation room to me, right? In the dark gray room. It looks ominous. Boom. That's it. Palpatine comes in on a hologram. She gets pissed off. He chokes her a little bit to warn her. There you go. She's not dying right there. Deidre's going to be there the long haul. That's a warning. That's I mean, that's what I think. That's how
it's the Krennic Vader scene, right? Like,
now also it got mentioned in chat. I mean, there's one other set of Force users, the Inquisitors, right? I mean, they still exist around right now. So, that could be part of it. But I think that would suck to be an Inquisitor, because I think you got the two baddies, right? It's got to be Palpatine or Vader.
Yeah. As much as I want, because of the Rogue One connection, just because of the it's there. Inquisitors, if anything, if I had to put money on it, an Inquisitor would make more sense, because it's a low level character show. Doesn't mean that we can have a surprise or two. It doesn't mean that. Like, there was a Senate scene also on Mon, and I was really trying to think if that was the Emperor, but I don't know. I mean, we are definitely getting the Mon speech.
That was definitely the speech that gets her, chased. That puts a bounty on her head.
But even if it's like and we're not getting that confirmation, but we hear his voice in that Senate room, that's really all I need. If we do get an Inquisitor, I think it would be great. Now, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, okay, our heads go into putting Dedra in that position of in front of Vader, Emperor. What would make, like Scott said, she's chasing Andor. So what does she uncover, or does she
a rebel cell
trying to take
the rebellion?
But that wouldn't get her Force choked, right? Unless it's by a Jedi.
unless she blew something. Unless she let him get away. She messed up. She has this rebel cell. They told her what to do. She let something slip away. Yeah. He gets upset. Don't let it happen again. Boom.
Yeah.
Bringing up Stooge on Jedi's comment right here. What if Luthen really is a fallen Jedi and it's him? I mean, there's a possibility. I think we might have seen more hints of that before. I think. I mean, because he was kind of getting in the thick of it at times, and he had an insider that he didn't really. He used threats against the insider, against his mole. He didn't use any kind of Jedi mind trick persuasion on him. So
he's not as far as Saul Guerrera, but he does have the tactics of like, this is more important than you. This is more important than one person. So yeah, he definitely. I don't know about fallen Jedi.
Maybe former.
He's
of the right age where, I mean, if he remembers the time before, he would have been a full-on knight, or maybe he could be Force sensitive. Hey, Genobi, what's up?
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it past Luthen to Force choke somebody, right? But Genobi is checking in.
But personally,
it's not a Jedi trait or a light side trait. We know this, but yeah,
right. Personally, I do think it's Vader. I think it's possible that it could be a misdirect, because I don't think Dedra is anywhere near the level of Palpatine. I mean, it'd be cool if Palpatine was, but Palpatine hasn't sullied his hands with anything like that before, right? He usually lets his enforcers do that.
Yeah.
And if it ends up being an Inquisitor, we're going to get those disappointing Inquisitors from Obi-Wan Kenobi back again.
Right.
It's not going to look like the Fifth Brother or the Grand Inquisitor. They're going to
it'd be like some other and that's cool too. And again, it puts it in mind, like, what what does she do or uncover or trying to take credit for that this happened, right?
Now Palpatine has gotten into mix and stuff. During the stuff in Ryloth, during what was it? What's that? Not Acolytes of the Sith. It's the book with Vader and Palpatine. It's early on.
I didn't read it. It was
really good because they crash with a whole bunch of the royal guards. You figure out one of them is a clone, and Anakin Vader recognizes him, and it brings back a little bit of his memory. But anyway, he has been in the thick of it, that kind of stuff, because he went there to discuss things on Ryloth. Issues there. So it's not unheard of, but I get your point. I do, but I also think, like I said, Yularen has a hotline to him, and holograms are pretty easy.
Yeah, and we know Vader goes around choking insubordinates so
all the time.
Yeah.
Rhino Hobbies, I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled a Rogue One and filmed a bunch of intriguing stuff that's not in the movie / show. Yeah. What Tony Gilroy said, look, this is it. This is his last hurrah in the Star Wars. He's never doing this again. Not because he doesn't like it. It's just like he's not that kind of person. He's
finished his story. He's gone Rogue One and the things leading up to it. There's nothing else.
Exactly. I think this is his sandbox, and he knows what he's doing in this world, and he knows the importance of like Rogue One, right? But he knows that importance of putting Leia, Tarkin, Vader, like big heavy hitters into it, and CGI, just do it, right? If a part of me wants to think like, because of this is his last hurrah, that he would do something that would be that epic, right? But I think he does put his creativity over cameos, over a fanfare. Like I think he has that like this is my story.
He's not going to be the guy that does fan service for the sake of fan service, right? It's going to everything that we see is going to have a reason and have a point behind it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
and I kind of almost like appreciate Andor for that aspect, because it's like something that I'm just like focused on is this rebellion uprising story, and it's not clean. It's not a like, hey, let's all uprise and then okay, we're all organized and let's go. It's a very sloppy business, or it's a very dangerous thing that like to organize an alliance, like this, and that just shows you how dangerous the empire is and how influential it is. Like, people don't want it, they're afraid. I mean, it's cutthroat. Look at Saul Guerrero and that other guy they let burn basically, and like let them take the fall because it's for the greater good. It just makes more sense. Dr.
Bradley, it's Revan. They're trying to sell that lightsaber again.
Oh yeah, no, Boxing Hasbro, don't do it. Where is Reva at this point?
I couldn't imagine it'd be the Inquisitor right now, right? The Grand Inquisitor, and we have him with the proper head, and then everybody's happy.
Look, man, that would be awesome.
It'd be ridiculous. Then you'd be all messed up in canon. You can't.
See what? No, because what we saw was a slightly younger Grand Inquisitor, and as we all know, Utapauans, as they age, their heads get elongated. It was just we saw him 5 years too soon. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. A lot happens in 5 years at that race. We never know.
You don't know.
Bondage Brittany they showed him as a temple guard, and he still had a tall head.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it.
Bondage Brittany, I can't say I remember no Reva. Can't say or you won't say.
Hey, you see Smee is the new Hagrid in the HBO Harry Potter series?
Nick Frost. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome casting.
Sorry.
I so far I think all the tangent, right? Side note, all the Harry Potter's casting I think is pretty good so far.
Well, there's a little bit in there, but we'll leave that.
Oh, okay. I know exactly.
Obviously.
Yeah. Crown Inquisitor hasn't hit puberty yet. We don't know. They have 18 stomachs. You stab one, doesn't matter about bleeding or being sepsis. It doesn't. That species don't. Just come on, guys. Explosions in space.
Explosions in space.
Sound in space.
He had high blood sugar at the time. Yeah, I mean, Basil G. Maybe Bix finds a way to play the dying species music to torture Dedra for revenge. Oh, that'd be a reversal. That's I don't think this might. Okay, maybe this is like the opposite of Rogue One, right? Where all the good guys die in Rogue One, but at the end of Andor, Dedra, besides Luthen, I think he's not going to make it out. But like Linus, Cyril, all the people that were introduced, they all die, except for
Krennic and Vader are the only ones left.
Yeah. So maybe it's all them dying for them having the Death Star plans revealed or something like that, right?
You're never even going to see Linus again. He's going to be like the end of the movie, like the last scene. He's going to be kicking a can down the street. Didn't get to get back in the war. Shit.
Yeah, well, when we last left Linus, he was leaned up against the wall just drinking. He was like, he was like defeated. Yeah. That's where he last left.
That's where we're going to see him again. Every time we see him, he's just beat up somewhere, like lost everything.
William Rodriguez checking in. Good evening. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so interesting theories just to go by one shot, right? And here's the thing: it's like you kind of see certain creators' paths and stuff, and you're like, okay, look, it's probably just a panic attack because she's a very nervous person and all that stuff, and
she's in an airlock right there. We just don't see the door.
There you go.
Oh, but I do like the poison. I do like the poisoning thing too, because again, the Imperials are cutthroat, and Krennic wants all that. We know this. It's his accomplishment. Well, it's Galen Erso's accomplishments, but Krennic even stood up to Tarkin. He's like, no, and then he went above his helmet, went straight to Vader. And he got choked out for that.
Above his helmet, more to the side.
More to the side. Yeah, they do pop pills, the caffeine pills that they were doing. Caffeine.
They're all methed out.
Yeah, Commander Blind Linus' theme song is sad Hulk music.
Yeah, see, he's just gonna have a duffel bag walking around.
Wait, Genobi, how do we know they all die? I forgot something. Well, I'm just going by. We don't see them. Yeah, we don't see Daedra, or like I said, they don't necessarily.
The Empire's large. We don't know. They die eventually.
Maybe they're on the Death Star.
Right, they're gonna be at least on the Death Star.
Daedra got assigned to the Death Star.
Yeah,
as a reward for all of her work, tracking down Andor. Congratulations, you're promoted. You're on the Death Star now.
Yeah, you're going to DS1. Oh man, that would be awesome.
Nobody could touch us here.
That's where Cyril ends up. Cyril ends up there because he's uncovered all this stuff and he's reinstated into the Empire, and his uncle gets him reinstated. Oh, he's the guy in the black helmet, the Imperial gunner.
Cyril's the guy.
Yeah.
Stand by.
I would love it. Put him on the Death Star. Just let it be like that. So that's their happy ending.
He works in the cafeteria. Awesome. He just works in the cafeteria for the morning shift, pouring, shame puffs all day long.
Shame puffs.
Oh, see, here's an Agent Callus turnabout. Arthur Henderson, they try to kill Daedra and turns her to the rebellion.
See, I'll have a problem with that because the Hux turn and the Callus turn.
We have too many of those, right? And
I just don't want it. I like evil to be evil, and she seems like pure evil, right?
Yeah, hers wouldn't make sense.
I would hate it.
Hux didn't make sense.
Again, Hux that's why I love. I love Andor because there's really no sympathy for the Empire. Even the soldiers.
Even Cyril, you would think you would have. They're trying. They're not trying to really. They're trying. He's creepy.
He's creepy.
You don't.
He's a stalker.
You don't feel for him. I'm not rooting for Cyril ever. I want to see what this guy's going to end up with people in his closet.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's weird.
His mom's in the closet. Yeah, I could see him taking out his mom.
Yeah.
He's that kind of guy.
She's going to be something big, right? I mean, like they used her in the trailer. Like it's
Who's
just
that?
Cyril's mom.
Cyril's mom.
Cyril's mom. Yeah.
Why do we need his mom in the trailer? It's such a weird character to use.
It's more or less
must have something.
I would think so, but it's more or less building on Cyril's character and why he is the way he is, and it's got mommy issues,
Yeah,
we don't know Palpatine's origin in the current canon. We knew it in Legends because of the Darth Plagueis book. That's really Palpatine's really uncle, whatever his name is,
Hugo, Uncle Hugo,
something like
that. Mando, we have to double check this. So I watched both trailers back to back. That's definitely Vader's Star Destroyer. When she says the monster is coming for us all, that definitely Vader.
That really makes you think Vader. I didn't even hear the monster is coming for us all.
That was Mon's speech and the Empire.
Speech. Yeah, same is the monster of the Empire. If they show Vader's ship, then I'm happy with that too. I just like no, that's exact. Stu John Cyril is Norman Bates meets Imperial wannabe character. 100%. He's gonna take Daedra and throw her in the ice machine out front of the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, evil isn't known in the galaxy. Well, I mean, the Empire is oppressive. Yeah, I mean, there's.
I don't know that everybody knows Palpatine's a Sith Lord.
No, but they also, I mean, we know by reading like the Aftermath books that whenever the Empire is destroyed, defeated, and the rebellion is around, right? All of a sudden, there's a lot of worlds and a lot of systems that no longer have the support that they had before, right? Like they're stripped away from their food and things like that the Empire provided them.
Yeah, so even though
not everybody thinks it's evil.
No, that's in a lot of it. It's a split galaxy, right? There's a lot of Imperial loyalists.
And remember,
planets.
the rebels are terrorists.
I mean, the rebels are the bad guys.
Yeah, even though in the eyes of course the Empire, but like somebody like Cyril's mom would be that staunch person living in the world of order. And they like it. They don't know what's going on behind the scenes, what's really happening, how they destroy Geonosis, how they destroy worlds that to keep secrets. They kill people on the whim. Vader chokes out everybody on his path. It's like, it's not good to be an officer in the Imperial Navy with Vader behind you, and it's that evil which the planets don't see, but stability, even if it's oppressive stability, we see that in this world today too, where countries when governments get over top, the people there go, look, man, it sucked, but at least we're fed, which is a bad way of looking at things, but that's the Empire in a lot of
everything was going fine for me until you went and made this change. Now everything's gone all effed up, right? That's
that's all rebel propaganda.
That's what I'm saying. Long live the Empire.
Exactly.
I'm gonna keep real politics out of the chat, so just so we're aware, we're not going there, people.
But I laughed. It's true though. But I mean, it's cool because now if Vader's ship is there, I'm excited, man. Like this is gonna be good, and I like the fact that a lot of times you can watch a movie trailer and you go, I to watch the whole movie right here, or a series trailer, it's like it's all right here. But with this one, even Andor season 1, I didn't know.
They're just character picks.
Yeah.
Really, nothing major.
It wasn't a narrative trailer. It was just like, boom, Mon's in trouble. He's breaking people out. We
don't know which year anything's happening in.
No,
there's 4 different years going on.
Exactly. Exactly. We can't pinpoint this. We can't,
Except that the Death Star looked awful close to Rogue One Death Star status, right? Like it was only missing the dish.
Yeah.
So,
right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the thing that I do like is the continuity of shots. Like every shot, it seems like somebody is walking away from the camera towards a crowd, towards some action. It was a very well put together trailer that way. It's got this very cool through line for it. I exactly enjoyed that.
Exactly. Commander Blythe, this is what Luthen wanted, to stop the slow drop of oppression and force the Emperor's fascist agenda to be more of a shock to the citizenry. Yeah, they wanted to cause pain so people would, stop being complacent and uprise. That's and I think that's what we're gonna get in this show. So, where we at? 27 days, and then we'll be right here talking about it. So it is dropping on Tuesdays, 3 hours or so. Half hour, 45, maybe 90 minutes. I don't know.
I wonder. I hope it doesn't drop at midnight because I really don't want to have to stay up really late.
I'm sure they're going to do the 6 or 9 again, and that gives us a chance probably to watch it twice.
6 o'clock, I believe it is. Yeah.
So, that's because it was long too. That was the other. So 6 o'clock, that gives a good solid 2 watches.
Yeah, I would expect these episodes to be about 40 minutes, 35, 40, just like normal Star Wars stuff, right? But this is
just less than 2 hours for the 3. I would think an hour.
Yeah, and it should. I mean. Everybody's complaints before was like, "Oh God, that was too short." Well, these won't be because it's 3 episodes. Damned if you do, damned if you do. Someone's gonna say something about like
sometimes it's our bigger problems are there's not a natural stopping point to a lot of them, and you kind of leave us hanging on a shitty
right.
Part, and this it's not like this will stop that.
Again, this is the show I'm looking forward to, that kind of format, and I think it is a test, and I think it will. Hopefully be,
so then you can just bust out arcs at a time.
I'm great with that. To move on to another show that's making headlines again is the people that the people are weird.
Brace yourselves, everybody.
Yeah, this is just weird to me sometimes, So right now the Acolyte is in the news again, and when I say news, it's the fan channels, it's the podcasts, it's everybody
Hollywood
Reddits, and
whoever put this on there, right?
Nothing official. We don't know if it's real or not, but I mean, there seems to be a demand for Acolyte 2, a strong demand, meaning the fans are petitioning for the continuation of the story. Now, we have heard there is a little bit of credence to this, because there is evidence to show that Acolyte is well watched, and it still to this day has high numbers of watched hours, more than Skeleton Crew, more than, right? I mean, it's been said. I don't know by how much, but it's been said. So there are people that like the show and want more of it. For me personally, it's more of a it's on principle that I want more, because I want them to finish what they started. And I could talk about good, bad, whatever it is later. To drop it I think does more damage than it does continuing.
If I may, I'm going to read the direct quote from the news story here.
Okay, yeah.
It said, quote unquote, it said that the demand for the show is 20.4 times the market average, with only 2.7% of series put in the same outstanding category. This places the Acolyte well above Ahsoka, the Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and is just slightly behind the Skeleton Crew and the Mandalorian. So it actually rates below the Mandalorian and the Skeleton Crew, but above Ahsoka. Book of Boba Fett,
in what now? Not in viewership, in just online.
No, in viewership, in views, in demand. So it is being watched more, 20.4 times more than the market average.
Huh.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because during
all you heard playing with the algorithm.
I mean, wow.
I got 20 people sitting there with the laptop just going over and over again.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. It's like Commander Bly says, all those numbers are nebulous. They are, because they're not giving us actual factual, stated numbers. So, so if we the fandom survive Acolyte season 2, right? I mean, that's the big question.
First off, it cannot have the same showrunners. It just can't. I'm talking about for it to survive the backlash. You introduce it with a whole new showrunners, then I think you got something there. You continue with the same stuff, you're gonna destroy everything that Andor is building back up.
You know what Skeleton Crew and Andor don't have? Nonsense media coverage.
Yes,
questions and discussion. I'm doing Star Wars. This is awesome. Blah blah blah.
Absolutely. And that's what it should have been to begin with.
Yep.
I think that was most of the problem right there. Is you get online and you just start talking, and if you just talk about the product you're promoting, shit doesn't happen like this. Right?
Yeah, and there's got to be consequences. Like I said, you don't get another chance. You don't get another shot. That you had.
Give it to somebody else. Take these characters and go another route.
Yeah, and I think hey, if the actors don't want to do it, then recast them. At this, who cares?
The only one I want to Camille. He is the only one I'm really invested in. I want to see him. I want to see the relationship. Like it or not, whether you hated the Acolyte or you love the Acolyte, two things. Camille was pretty damn cool, and Darth Plagueis made an appearance.
Yeah, that's the only story I want to go on. I want Yoda to tell Vanessa, forget it. I don't even need. I
actually forgot about that part until you just said that. I forgot about that.
It's all Yoda's fault.
I want Vanessa just to lie to Yoda, and Yoda's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Real fast. Rhino Hobbies ordering a Starlight Digest shirt tonight. Do they run small, true to size? I think they're true to size, but they're the fitted tees, right? So if you like them, kind of like
there's a variation. Stylized. You can get either the fitted tees, or you can get just the basic like a Gildan shirt. Yeah, pretty true to size.
Commander Bly knows. Let's see. Commander Bly's also on the Acolyte. Where's the fast forward button?
Hopefully not on us. We're talking about the Acolyte, right?
Yeah. Hell Runner wants more Acolyte. But
people always trying to get booted.
It's always yeah.
It also doesn't need to be called the Acolyte anymore, right? I mean,
right.
The Acolyte, they now are together, right? It doesn't need to be the Acolyte. It could be a completely different tangential story just has some of those characters.
Master Plagueis,
yes.
Master P.
We're gonna say this, and they can't use it because that's what they don't do. But it's already been on the record before. We had the Acolyte. The next season is called The Apprentice. And the next season is called Sith Lord or Sith Master.
The Master.
And you have 3 legacies of an actual Sith story. Started with the Stranger, right? But Plagueis is there as well. I want. This is what I want. I want Darth Smiley, the Stranger, to go off and form the Knights of Ren. And Plagueis is finding this whole thing about creating life from midichlorians. And you get to the Sith Apprentice, which is Palpatine. And then you get into his rise and stuff. And you have, like I said, Sith Masters. You have 3 distinctive chapters within a Sith story instead of May and Osha, Venestra and Osha, right? Instead of those were just something that was in phase 1. You know what I mean? It was just something to bring about. What we could drop them, and you might have to close some doors, but
you have to kill Venestra.
You have to kill her,
violently. Slowly.
Yeah. Yeah, and we need the Book of Basil next too. So is he all right?
having read the High Republic books and the big buildup of Venestra, I was really looking forward to seeing her character in the Acolyte. God, that was an awful turn.
Brutal.
It was just not good.
Like she could have been cool. I bet that actress was just horrid.
Yeah. Dude, John, we also never got to know what happened to Mork and Mindy. He got over it. Yeah, I get it.
Nanu.
Nicholas H. Have Plagueis kill off Osha and focus on him and Kamir. Great. Great. Opening the first 5 minutes of the Acolyte season 2, episode 1.
All right.
Which one's Osha and which one's May? Osha, the good one?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
But how it ended, she went off with
they flipped.
They flipped.
Yeah. Just making sure.
So now, what if we go into the future now and Osha is actually the one that finds Palpatine and brings Palpatine to Plagueis? I could absolutely see it happening, right? Yeah.
I think you just leave those 2 alone anymore. Just forget Osha.
We know Plagueis has to live, right? We don't know if Kamir, the Stranger, we don't know if he, where he meets his end. And we know that apprentices usually kill the master and take the place. Does Osha kill Darth Smiley, whatever we want to call him, and then she's the one that finds Palpatine and brings Palpatine to Plagueis?
No.
Hal Runner, Chris, damn well which one is Osha and which one's May. I know now. Those numbers are up because of you.
No, but I was thinking when I saw that article and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just give it a once over, just no gap, just a once through, because I do it with everything else, and I don't.
Yeah.
It with Acolyte or not, but maybe it'd be better, or maybe just
look, man.
More.
I will say this. You take all that outside world stuff out, you take all that out of it, and you watch it what it is. It's not a horrible show. It really is. There are
because I look at Attack of the Clones like that. I look at Attack of the Clones like I don't see the CGI bullshit. I don't see the I roll my eyes at the
precedes it. Yeah.
But I don't. Nothing bothers me. Attack of the Clones. I love it because of what's on paper. I can put the pieces together better. You know what I mean? Yeah. I see it differently. So I'm wondering if maybe if I can just do that with Acolyte and not see Venestra as the shitty actress and try to put it in my head that she's stoic and whatever else is bad in there, right? Just kind of scoot it aside, not think about the outside. Maybe it'll be better if I roll one shot.
There are, like I said, there's one issue I have with the importance of Osha and May, not their creation, but their attitudes towards their story. It just didn't translate as well. Like, even if you put it on paper, it's like, you're mad about that. It's like, or you know what I mean? It didn't have that. It was starting. It was, I wanted it to, but it never really finished strong on those characters. But now if you, like I said, that's why I'm very upset about it not continuing, and not that I loved it and I want more. It's just the fact that when you present something, especially in Star Wars and how we do things, we need to talk. We need to find. I don't need every single,
But these guys are threads
up,
we need closed up before Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
so we're only 100 years till Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
these guys,
and it's
we don't even know how old Camille is. Camille seems ancient, doesn't he?
Yeah.
They allude to that. They allude to him being far. He even says, "I'm much older than I appear." I mean, it's There's a lot of really interesting threads.
There is.
Yeah.
Is there a visual dictionary on the Acolyte? There is, isn't there?
I have not seen one. I was actually at the bookstore today looking for something.
I feel like they announced one and we bitched about it. We were like, "What the hell? How are we getting that and not whatever we were missing?" Like Mandalorian,
very true,
or whatever it was.
How run? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. Usually we get those things. But just like I said, I haven't bought any figure because I'm not buying a canceled show. I don't like it. I don't. It's a bad precedent. I don't think it's a good way of doing it. And if the talk is serious,
not so much a canceled show. It's just a one shot with the open ending.
Well,
they thought it was to begin with, right? It's that's what we originally.
But the way, but it really, but those open endings really kind of because of Yoda. All right, the dark, like Camille and the strength. I can probably just we could probably stop like headcanon stuff and like I said, Plagueis could have just been there at the time. I don't think he had any relationship to the stranger. He was just overseeing everything there. You know what I mean? But what is how would I say? The Visionary Dictionary did some excerpt in the preview pages that Camille was messing with the options in the apothecary that prolonged his aging.
There you go.
Potions.
Okay.
In the apothecary. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Like I said, I think what would be cool in my head say if I'm not getting more, I would just chalk it up to like Plagueis was there to witness this whole thing, but he had no influence over there. And then he used what he learned to create Anakin or not to create Anakin, but to prolong his own life.
No, he's got Osha, who was created through the whatever.
Yeah.
You got Camille that's prolonging his elongating his life.
Yeah.
Right. And Palpatine says it in Revenge of the Sith to Anakin. Right. He was searching for a way to prolong his life, to make himself immortal, basically.
Yeah.
The story of Plagueis. So this is him doing it. He's creating people that would get him to that point.
But see, I'm almost looking at like he's witnessing it and he's going to take that power for himself.
Yeah.
Not necessarily he's involved in this like that again. And that's one of those things where a season 2 or a continue or something could have been maybe connected that way, because again, I have like you start to have these conflicts of we were very good at headcanon talking ourselves on theory crafting ourselves, but to drop it on that dime like that, and then again the whole thing about Venestra and Yoda, that's a big problem, like because it's a bigger problem than Coyote Mundy's age. Okay, it's a bigger problem.
I forgot about Coyote Mundy.
Yeah, thanks. You know what I mean. Yeah, but it's a bigger problem than that because again, there's like, wait a second, you can't leave that open ended. You really can't, and because it causes a lot of conflict. Because the talks of this prequels could go back to that. Well, Yoda knew the whole time. He did not. But now there's
the look between Mace and Yoda means something different. When
100%, dude. Yeah,
and you start. Yep.
It's. I mean that's my biggest problem with it. Other than being just kind of generally choppy, it's like the whole thing with Basil. It was like there was no reason to have Basil on that. It was a stupid character. That what he did was dumb. It made no sense.
No explanation either.
At all, right? But it was the show was loaded with moments like that, right? But then it's like, okay, what did the Jedi know? Vernestra apparently beat her former Padawan. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, she used to abuse her Padawan. We gotta.
Yeah,
that's what it came
it's
out
like,
to.
what are we doing here? I mean, and we're you put it out there now. It exists in the ether, right? And I'm the completionist that's going to want to know. Okay, so what the hell happened? Why is it that way? Let me tell you right now, if it's continued in comic books, the current authors of the comics are awful. And I don't mean that as some sort of strange hyperbole that, the comics just aren't as good as they used to be. No, the authors of this comic series are garbage. I'm currently reading The Battle of Jakku And I read it digitally, so it's a couple months behind, but it is so choppy. It makes the Acolyte look like it was written by a award-winning, Pulitzer Prize winning author, right? It's the comics are terrible, and I don't want it to get fixed or completed there. The novels, maybe, but even the novels are kind of hit and miss, especially in the High Republic era, right? They've got some cool threads, some cool storylines, but the payoff is just, so far it's not been worth the ride.
You know where they can wrap this up, quite honestly, within a 15-minute segment, which is in the Tales of the Sith.
Tales of the
and
Jedi,
Tales of the High Republic. Just knock out a couple stories and
that's
finish
it.
it up in 30 minutes.
Done. And if you really wanted to close that chapter of the Acolyte and not entertain season 2 or entertain anything else, you could do it animation style, and you can really because there's a way to closing these doors. There's ways of doing it, and it's Disney Plus, and it'll be fine. We can deal with that. But I think, and maybe I don't know. It's a weird thing because like Star Wars is tough to say this, but sometimes I feel like just have the balls to do it and just do it, right? And if the backlash happens, but they spent $300 million on the Acolyte, so it's you know what I mean. So I know that they don't want to do that anymore. Okay,
and it does not show. it doesn't show. I mean, you had 2 episodes of really cool lightsaber battles, and I'm sorry, you can do that on a.
I don't know what
do that on your
300
computer.
million went. You're right.
Because Coruscant, the temple, was horrible. Right,
it was
forest when
the forest was terrible.
The forest when they went to Kalnakas was rough. It's like where did it all go? Pay.
It's like they went to the Timu or Wish version of the where do they film all those, the Mandalorian? What do they call it? The
volume.
They went to the Timu volume to film
just
the
Acolyte, living room
right?
green screen. Just some plastic or paper trees and stuff. Yeah, I mean. Like I said, I don't know if Disney's even entertaining, like ever will entertain, or they're just like, let's just like the chat. Some people said, let's just move on and whatnot. And like I said, I think there's opportunity there within a Tales of series to wrap up some of these points. And I think it would be in their best interest to do it. It wouldn't take $300 million to do it. You can, there's a way of make, it's like, why does it always have to be an us versus them competition? Always, like within gaming, within sports, within everything else, there's always the fandom versus the creators. There's always a conflict. There should be a way of going like, look, we didn't do this correct, or we're leaving this open-ended. We have an obligation to the fandom to close some of these chapters and what we're doing, and with the Acolyte, I'm just specifically, and doing it in the animation style or whatever it is, and throwing it out there. And having people actually go like, that was awesome, thank you so much. Maybe it didn't make them $100 million, and maybe put the business aspect just to the side, just for that one section of it, right? And then learn the lessons from the marketing, because Acolyte was doomed from marketing. We all understand that. I think everybody can agree on that.
I think they understood that.
Yeah. Even though, like I said, we could look at the story and we can kind of like pull things that are not cohesive or just did not hit and whatnot, but like Chris said, we can work our way around visuals. That's not we even would do it with Kenobi. We try to work around the visuals.
Attack of the Clones is Chris's favorite.
Honestly, honestly, it's the worst CGI out of all of them, dude. Phantom Menace is better than Attack of the Clones. George just got too cocky and was playing with a new toy, right? That was it. He wanted to really do it up, and he did.
But with a price tag of $300 million, they could easily wrap it up at a fraction of that cost in animation, and then you don't have that overhead. The worst thing is you've got to pay some voice actors, and you don't have to pay the same actors, right? Master Soul's dead. You don't have to go back there. Anybody can do a Wookiee howl if you need to tell more tales of Kalnaka.
I think
if you want to hire May, go for it, but.
In the animation department of Star Wars, there should be 2 things that are always ongoing. There should be a Tales of yearly, a seasonal of it, and it should be more than 4 episodes or 6. It should be a 3 months seasons, right? 3 months of it, 3 months off, 3. It should always have they double, tripled their hiring on animation studio. I think they opened another animation studio. So they have people working on things. So we are going to get, there's actually an animation panel that we're going to see at Celebration. So that's going to be interesting to see what they drop and what they're doing. And there also should be a long format series always going on. There should always be, if they always want to play in the Clone Wars realm, fine. But there should always be something of that sort, plus a Tales of as a staple. Always. There's no end in sight. There's just, you know what I mean? Because again, you can really do a lot of things that you can introduce in these live action. You can really tell those side stories and those wrap things up. And I think it'd be
in a way less expensive way, in a cool way that we all embrace. It. I mean, who doesn't love those tales, right?
Well,
Clone Wars and Rebels.
And like I said, it's really taken a vested interest in your storytelling, on like looking at it as a whole, and we're like, dude, the fandom's gonna dig this. They're really gonna like this. Versus, I'm not going anywhere. Ha ha. Sucks to be you. I'm on my next project. That it's like it's bad faith in the stuff, and this is why Star Wars numbers are at what they're at. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's got to be that. I got to say repairing. There has to be some sort of repairing in that mode, meaning, and I think that's where they're going. But again, we're seeing this in between, right? We're not seeing it fast enough. We're going to like Celebration. Don't know how much they're going to offer. We have a long time between movies, but eventually I hope we should get into this position of like, freaking Star Wars is on top again, and everything they do is golden. It hits $1.2 billion opening weekend. You know what I mean? That's the stuff where we grew up with, and if those days are gone, then they're gone. I mean, whatever. But it doesn't have to be gone, is what I'm saying. Like, they can really take a hard look at it and go like, quality over quantity. There's some things that we make a Solo 2, but don't call it Solo 2. Make it a Crimson Dawn movie and continue Darth Maul's live, because people are wondering out there that don't know the Clone Wars stuff. How is that guy alive? You know, that are, you know, and again, we call them muggles and normies and stuff. And maybe it's like, but you can't just keep doing that to people.
And we've got this really amazing animation style that they started with the Clone Wars, right? And they've gone through the Bad Batch, and it's evolved over the years. It's gotten more fluid. I remember the first couple seasons, the characters almost looked like they were made of wood. Like if you look at their hair and stuff, it looked really jarring. But sculpted, exactly. But over the years, that got so much better.
Yeah,
and
the animation's top notch. It's
absolutely, and like Basil right here, he so very much wants a Path storyline show.
Dude, absolutely. It's there. Like,
I've been begging for that since the day they left. Right, we're like, that's how you. Since the day Asajj said it, that voice actress said it's not over. There's more to come. Yes. We're like, okay, well that makes sense because you got Quinlan and Kenobi, you got her. Boom.
You talked about that. I mean, if you want more of Reva, for the fans of Reva that are out there, that's where that storyline would continue. If you want more of, so you could take that with the Path. That's what I'm really hoping for. But that same animation style is what they use in Tales of the Jedi. There's no reason why they couldn't continue and complete the Acolyte story in 100%, man. Right?
And again,
Tales
15 minutes.
of the Sith would be amazing.
We could do it in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
you know, and have an epic thing going like holy crap, and then we would chalk up some of those cringy moments up to what they are to just you know, like I said,
you want to make Visions important, do that with Visions. I don't care if you do it in anime style, put Khmer and Plagueis in an anime style and put it in Visions. Do something.
Khmer leads to Plagueis leads to Palpatine. What are we waiting for here? Why not tackle that in animation, right? I mean, you can't show Plagueis. Everybody knows the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Let's see it and do it in animation. That way you can't.
And then see, I'm about to say it, then I can't use it. Damn. I was gonna say, then you keep Plagueis alive, and then you somehow have him be influential in the sequels. Plagueis the whole time. That's who you should have brought back, not the Emperor. Yeah. Should have been Plagueis, but anyway.
Hey, Hal Runner, that's my point. Is that it's not canon? Make it canon. Do something. I don't care about Vision. I'm a staunch Vision anti-Visions.
You
know, I hate Visions because it's not canon. I'm gonna make it canon. Then do something important with it if you're gonna keep putting it out. You know.
Yeah,
and make it count.
Or just do Tales of the Jedi and let Visions be Visions. Yeah,
I'm all.
Vision's just a waste of space there. There could be something so important in that spot. There could be a new animation. There could be the Path right there. We're taking time.
You know what's the story? what's good about, I think, and again, this is I have nothing to go by this, but I don't think they're spending money on Visions. I think they're just allowing studios to like, you do it, it's your dime, we'll premiere it into the space. So resources aren't being taken up by doing Visions content. You know what I mean? So like, if their animation department, it's like this money is being allocated here, but hey guys, hey world, now it's like there's an opportunity for you to make a short movie animation style. It's not canon, so we're not putting anything, and you get, of course you get your recognition and all that stuff. So if that's the case, if I'm right about that, then I'm like, make 1,000 seasons, I don't care. But you're right though, if it's resources being taken that could be into like put into Old Republic, but they're doing on this non-canon stuff. No,
any other animated anything, right? Because there's so many things you could do. So animation is really the way to go with Star Wars. For the stories anymore, I think. Yeah,
you know why? Because like Bad Batch, phenomenal. Like it's phenomenal art. Like the direction, the art, the animation is phenomenal. It's go back and watch our Bad Batch episodes.
It's not.
We liked it. Yeah, we liked it. It's
wasn't phenomenal.
No.
The look is though. The look and the sound is
right. But more, like I said. Just opportunities. I think we are going to get more, and I think there is going to be
not even series though. Just do comic book adaptations, do adaptations like the Bane trilogy, do things like that you don't have to do live action that you're going to completely screw up in live action. Just do them there, and
100%, dude. Like I really would love for them to explore some adaptations. But again, will those adaptations be canon or would they be under a Legends banner?
Use the ones we have. We have so many. Adapt some of these and put it out there. People that don't read them.
Oh, so like new canon stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say adapt it to fit the new canon, but especially if you go back in the past, you're not messing with Palpatine, you're not messing with Plagueis, you're not messing with Luke and Han and Leia, right?
Right. Well, here's a hint.
Adapt the Thrawn trilogy so everybody knows who the hell Thrawn is. Put that in animation. Although Thrawn's kind of might not be all that exciting in a big set.
You're talking about like Ascendancy and all of those.
Yeah. So all those kind of books to catch people up because not everybody's going to read the books. But so start adapting them the way DC does with their.
That's a great idea.
Right. Here's my reading in between the lines of something. So they're remaking KOTOR, right? Knights of the Old Republic. The remake has been in the works for like 5 years now, and they're trying to remake the video game and to update it and stuff. But why is it taking so long? Yeah, switch some hands and stuff like that. But I really want to believe that they're adapting it into canon for future projects, and that would be the smartest thing they could, because again,
that would make sense why so long.
Yeah, exactly. And so that would be a cool thing to see, like they're adapting this game, and there's not much you have to change, but the thing is they have to like kind of like simplify things so it doesn't get out of hand, like it did.
And maybe reskin some things if they're
Yeah, because if it's just making it look good, it should have been done years ago. I mean, that's easy for them to do. Just updated, whatever. But I think it's the more or less of like what story to include and what paths to include and overall
which characters to include. Because as I mean by skin, and you could have two characters here, but they decide to change them in some certain ways because you change that model in the game, right?
Yeah. Because remember what they said: everything that comes out from this point on is canon, even video games, commercials, all that stuff.
So you've got to be careful with it, right?
Yeah.
Unless they put it out under a Legends video game.
Well. See, it went into like this production, and then went to independent. Then it's gone through like development.
I know, but when it releases, they can get away with not calling it canon. They just put Legends on it, like they do with the books.
Right. Because everybody say we're playing this Knights of the Old Republic game modernized, and is it canon? I want to say but
you'd want to.
Yeah, so maybe that's maybe again reading between hoping it's probably not, but I'm hoping that's the.
I don't trust video games. I mean, we've had Eclipse out there in the ether now for how many years?
I'm so used to the titles being announced and drop like flies, dude. Like 1313. There's so many different Star Wars projects, and I blame EA for all that stuff because in 10 years they put out 3 titles in 10 years, and 2 of them were Battlefront 2. You know what I mean? So it's not but now that now it's open season, everybody's could develop. But video games today's age is development hell, dude. You're talking 5-6 years for a game to be developed, and then if it bombs, it bombs. Like Squadrons, I think the only reason why people drop Squadrons as fast as it came is because they said that's it. It's a one and off title. There's no content, and that's not how gamers are these days. Gamers want a base game, and then it builds, and there's DLC, and you could play this game for 2-3 years before another title.
Show off all the things you earn and do
everything. So to come out and say this is one and done, it is what it is. There's nothing. I think they gave us one update, but there's nothing. No new planets, no modes, no ships. That's it. I think that's why people went, I don't want to play.
It's funny. I was at Barnes & Noble today. Went over there, grab a coffee, and look around. And I was looking specifically for a book that's no longer in print, so we could do a review of it here on
I know which one.
I have one. Yeah. I actually got it from the library. But nice. I was looking through Star Wars Insider, and there was a big article in Star Wars Insider about how great Star Wars Hunters is.
Yeah, I played it.
It's already dead. They've said it's ending. They're closing it down at the end of the year.
That's great. Why not? It makes perfect sense.
you're just announcing it. You're just talking about it. It's a story about Star Wars bounty hunters, and they're closing it. And
it's like if anybody's played Overwatch or something, it's a battle royale kind of a game, and it was fun, fast paced. Matches last like 5-10 minutes long, and it's just run and gun kind of. It's just a fun thing, And it's it was a free game. It's mobile. They have paid stuff. You can buy skins and whatnot. I played it. My son plays it, and he had a great time. And then now they're shutting it down. It's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense, because people are enjoying it. Again, it's always seems like there's an us versus them on every level. It's like
it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
It makes zero sense.
Gaming has been in I don't know. I think the technology became so complicated. You can't just make a simple game anymore. Like these things aren't no one will play it, right? You gotta get people in this gaming chair for years on end. That's why I play MMOs, because there's no ending. You just play, Yeah. But I do miss the arcade style, just kind of 2D scroller or first person shooter. I miss a first person shooter or a flight simulator. I would love for Star Wars. Well, it's there now because EA lost the rights. So every studio can submit now, because Lucas Gaming, I think, is back and they're overseeing it now. And but it takes time, right? All this takes a lot of time, but at the same time, and the longer you take, a lot more people are losing interest in it, and they're going to call Star Wars dead. And then when it does come out, it's just a attempt on trying to revitalize a dead IP, which Star Wars has been revitalized 4 or 5 times, Right. So, but yeah, I mean, last thing I wanted to bring up to you guys. You guys saw the Avengers Doomsday trailer, or not the trailer, but the drops. Did you see that one video? Yeah, that one video of the chairs, and they're panning all of them, and that they got to Robert Downey Jr.'s at the end, and he looked back and it was like, what was it, 24 chairs?
27 chairs, yeah.
And I was just like, that's cool. That's good marketing for that type. And I'm bringing it up because I'm like, it's cool, but stay in the Marvel lane. That's because my head goes, should Star Wars do that? Right? Should Star Wars beef up a movie franchise with 27 big name actors and throw this Hollywood thing behind it?
No.
Exactly. And I was
no, but it's something they really haven't done, right? I mean, everything they've done so far has been usually, by the time Harrison Ford is a name, he's a name because of Star Wars, right? Yeah. But they really haven't done
haven't done that. Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Gosling in talks right now is probably the biggest name I've seen that's been associated with any kind of Star Wars project. Jude Law, but at the same time, Jude Law is not. Sorry, Jude. He's not Ryan Gosling going after the female contingent.
1 or 2 is fine, not 27.
Right, but
that's
what I'm saying though is if they're trying to drag people kicking and screaming away from Disney Plus and back into the theater, what's it going to take?
That's very true. That's a true statement.
For us, it's going to take a good story and something 100%. Set in the Star Wars universe. But we're built for that. What about the people that aren't, right? What about the people who they're all about Grogu and they're all about, you know,
you take that name list and you add a Star Wars title to it. I guarantee you it's a hit in the
take that name list. Go back a second. There's a couple big names in there. It's not 27 big names. It's not.
You're right.
The key is the characters. That's the characters. Yeah. Who gives a shit about the new Falcon? Not a person. I had to look up most of those people. I had to look up who the hell is that? Who the hell is that? I agree.
But at the same time, we've got these names who are okay. So yes, they were not so well known. I mean, Chris Hemsworth nobody really knew who he was before he was Thor, right?
Yeah.
Chris Evans, they kind of did. You know, he was Johnny Storm. He was in a few other movies, but Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, you've got all these names who are on these chairs, right? These are big names, and they're not
that bit, but I'm saying they weren't 27 big names.
You're 100%.
No.
But there are some new names there too, you know.
Exactly. But if you take those names, I mean, compare those names to the first time you saw a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, no.
If you were lucky, you knew who Alec Guinness was.
Yeah, it's still a star-studded Hollywood kind of billboard movie. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's not the event. It's not Endgame Avengers, like, because that list was like, oh. But those guys built up with that franchise, right?
Right.
So like Chris Evans and all that stuff built, you know, they became those names.
But I think again, I think it's not the fact that it's Tom Hiddleston there. It's the fact that Loki is there. It's not the fact that it's Chris Hemsworth. It's the fact that Thor is there. Well, that's what's important. So if we had if Star Wars were to do that, and also you would see Thrawn, Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, and you start and Ben Solo, and you start seeing this list, and you're like, okay. That gets me excited when I see the character list.
Yeah.
You do that.
But take that existing list and just add a Star Wars title with same thing, Robert Downey Jr. at the end of it. Like that. What I think what the point was, that would absolutely cause a lot of big people going to the movie theaters. You know what I mean? That's a Hollywood. That's a summer blockbuster thing. But now again, how it translates to how a Star Wars movie is and how we relate to it. Yeah, we want to see these characters. I'd rather see a list of characters and be like, oh my god, dude, like, oh my god, you know, if I saw the characters.
That's why I was excited about the chairs, right? Because it wasn't the actor. I could give a shit about any of them. I had to look up most of them, and I'm like, okay, it's the Thunderbolts and whoever's left of the Avengers and the Fox X-Men somehow. Right.
He plays Magneto, Hellrunner.
Beast, Professor X, Magneto, Nightcrawler. Come on,
Cyclops.
Cyclops. I'm excited. I'm excited for like I said, the characters and how it's going to be. But I just was like, keep that in the Marvel lane, keep that in that, and like,
no, we don't need that. I would if they're coming with characters. Tell me that. I don't give a shit about the actors.
Completely agree. But again, if you're trying to pull in people that are not us. If you want to drag other people in, it might be throw a couple of big name actors at a Star Wars show.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
No.
And I understand it.
Yeah.
I could say like McClellan and Stewart. Yeah. Those are like exceptions because they're like, what do you say, a classically trained actor with that's different to me. They're big names. But they're not like they're not leading men as far as it might let a show or
not anymore.
They're not Tom Cruise or RDJ. You know, they're not those guys. It's
Keep Tom
they're
Cruise.
great actors.
Hell, before to your point, before Iron Man, RDJ was not. You know, he was not.
That's fair. And anything besides Iron Man, he's really besides Tropic Thunder.
Right.
Mando, look up Avengers Doomsday and you'll see the whole review. It was like it's good marketing for what they're doing, you know. And I would just like
the new Fantastic Four in that too. You saw Pedro Pascal's name was in there, and
the David Harbour, you know what I mean? Like there are these names that are they're like
you have the entire Thunderbolts team, the Fantastic Four, the old X-Men, and Thor and Loki. So Loki's got that's wild, right?
I know what that. See, that got me more excited than Hiddleston in it. It was
Seriously.
like Loki. What are they doing? Like,
how are they working this out?
Well,
you know,
there you go.
That's how the X-Men get there.
Of course, like it's all It doesn't make
okay,
sense
Bly.
anyway, so.
Bly. Now we're talking, Bly. Now we're talking. Okay.
Yeah. We need
Just
big actors.
See, I got more Darth Talon. Just put Darth Talon in.
Yeah.
So
She's big actors.
Yeah.
We can go
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
But,
she's what?
You heard him right.
I guess I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like it was just kind of like cool to see that it's happening again for Marvel, like in the bigger lead up to this, right? And
it feels like a return to form that they haven't had in quite a while.
Here's the thing.
I'm not sold.
I'm not sold on bringing people on just bringing characters back just because what they're doing now is not working.
We've tried the multiverse.
That's what they're doing.
We've tried the multiverse thing in several different movies and several different movie titles, and like we said last week, none of it worked because they were not willing to commit. It's like okay, so
I didn't like it in the comics. I didn't like it in the MCU. Yeah,
that's what's funny. It's not working. He said it's not working, so they know it's not working. We're still doing it. This is going to fix it. This is going to fix it. Galactus is going to eat everything but one. And that's what we're going to do, right?
Well, it leads up to.
We'll all have to converge on this Earth. Yeah.
Yeah, Secret War was a big. Everybody from different universes converge on one Earth, and it's a battle royale, right? I mean, that's
coming too.
Eats every universe, and it's So we now we're bringing everybody just convert. Okay, that works. Yeah, that works. All right. Well, I think let's get out of here. How about that?
I guess. This is episode 300. Aren't we going for 3 hours? Isn't that what
300 minutes?
We got into Marvel somehow. So no, we were done apparently.
I'm always, it's funny. Like I said this last week, right? And as much as I gatekeep Star Wars, I'm talking for myself. Much as I gatekeep it, I want it all. Like I smuggle it my own. I consume it on my own time. I buy everything. I still want it to be. I want people to go like Star Wars. Hell yeah, Star Wars is awesome. And I think it bugs me in the past 10 years that it hasn't gotten that kind of reception, right? So when I do see potential of like Star Wars could do do a $1.5 billion in an opening weekend or whatever it is. I
never think we're going to break a record anymore.
Right.
We used to be like all the time we would watch now watch it. Hell, are we going to hit it? We're going to hit it. Now it's like shit. Top 10.
Yeah. And any fandom, you're proud of that. You're proud of those kind of those acceptance and be like, yeah, man, you like Star Wars. That's pretty good stuff. I hate like stuff that's like Star Wars is all this and that and put all these tags on it. And I go, yeah, I can't, whatever. We're still doing a show, still collecting. And, I've learned to not be a completionist. I think Mike said being a completionist. So Acolyte. I haven't bought any Acolyte, and it's only because in my eyes they abruptly cancel something they're not going to continue. So why do I even want that on my shelf? You know what I mean?
So
hey, if
they do continue,
put out The Stranger, I'm in. I'll pick up that figure.
Maybe. So what happens if they continue in animation? Do you catch up?
No, 100%. 100%. Yes, I will. I will. Yeah.
But they won't continue with those same characters because all of those characters are dead.
I would pick and choose. Like I said, I'll get. I probably wouldn't buy like OSHA and on all those Vanestra. I wouldn't buy those, but I would be more inclined to pick up some figures on that line.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing here is the world's first all Basil collector. So all he's going to do is collect Basil in any form he can. So
there should be.
I'm really glad on the Basil hate today because I really felt like I was getting beat on when I hated Basil on day one. And like you guys were really making me feel bad about hating Basil. You liked him, and I was like, he's a shit character. And I'm
at the time. When we got introduced, you didn't have any grounds to bash him until later in the series.
Didn't make me wrong. I told you.
No. Yeah. Well, hindsight, right? Yeah. You were right at the end, but the day that happened, there was no reason. It was just okay.
It's the same reason why we kept saying the sequels. There's a plan. The sequels are going to be great because there's a plan. They're going somewhere. We know they're going somewhere. No, they didn't have a plan. So we needed a reason to. I mean, Basil, in theory. Okay, cool character. What's he gonna do? Not a goddamn thing. No. He's gonna sniff around. He's gonna.
There should be an animation of Basil. He just walks into a diner, throws some dishes on the thing, and then runs out. And you're like, "What the hell is that for?" Just because I want to sabotage the ship. Just because I'm on nobody's side, I'm just gonna sabotage the ship. Who edited that and said that? Oh, nobody will question that. No one's watching this.
That's the nonsensical crap we're talking about, right?
That's when I said, yeah, Basil sucks. Yeah. But then my initial was like, what did he do to Chris? You know what I mean?
He hurt me.
He was just annoying. Okay.
Another shit character. You could just tell it was a shit character again.
It was a tracker. And he did he did the job. He tracked, you know. It's what he did after.
Yeah, what he did with that, with the tracking.
Yeah, it was what he did with it. Yeah, exactly.
Damn it. See, now I don't want to watch it again. I was going to watch it. Now I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch Andor again.
Hell yeah, let's do it, man. So anyway, all right, guys, let's get out of here. Thank you so much, everybody in the pit. Hopefully, we could do this for another 300 episodes. That'd be awesome. Well, we got to do it for 1,000 years. So, one way or the other. It might not be us, but Starlight Digest will be.
It'll continue somehow.
Yeah. We'll just keep
somehow the Starlight Digest continues. But at least we're on the ground floor as all founders. We are all founders here.
Still arguing about pod races and
pod races,
Attack of the Clones,
and how bad the sequels are. And if they wouldn't have given a time frame of 18 hours, it would have all been better.
Yeah. There'd have been a lot easy things
Not
you could do
better,
in a special edition, right? So. All right. Monday, we have a toy chest coming out Monday. You don't want to miss it. We're going to go over all the stuff and some cool things. And
there was a lot of
prizes. Yeah, maybe some surprises. Not prizes, but some surprises.
All the prizes have been given away already.
Yeah. So look forward to that toy chest on Monday coming back. And then, of course, we will hit our weekly show up until Celebration and Andor when we just break it all down. We might throw a trivia in there. We might to the lead up to our May 4th trivia, which is going to be our live trivia, and more details to follow on that. Maybe some cool videos. The only way to find out, hit that bell notification, like and subscribe. Go to our affiliates. We got SKN Network, we got Blitz Transmissions, we have Tashi Station. If you want to see our pit joy being built as we speak, go over there, watch the videos, throw a subscribe on there. I promise you, I just promise you, Tashi Station is working on some major things. Stuff I haven't even told these guys. So
you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. I thought there were no secrets between us.
But anybody, think okay. We're gonna do an Acolyte trivia.
Like right now?
No. We're going to do a Resistance and Acolyte trivia. So it's going to force us to go back and watch those.
Get. So I said earlier that I'm reading the Battle of Jakku comic, right?
Yeah.
What's the old pilot from Resistance, the guy who kind of runs the station? I forget what his name is. It's like not Jetster. Jaeger.
Oh yeah.
Jaeger. Yeah. He stars in that freaking comic, and I still hate it. It's just, God, it's too so bad. Anyway,
is Bones in it?
No,
Damn.
No, Mr. Bones. But anyway, okay. I could write some Acolyte trivia though. Some Resistance.
Bones
trivia.
Is still we can get Bones still on Naboo.
At some point, right?
Like later, not Naboo. Well, anywhere in the Mandoverse.
And the Mandoverse would be amazing.
That's right.
Oh man. So however, we're gonna go over all that stuff. We got some things to gather. Also, we are working on, just kind of tease this for you guys. We're gonna work on some videos of concentrated content. For example, and I'll just say it, like Shadows of the Empire. You want to learn about Shadows of the Empire? Boom, we got you covered. So we're gonna be working on some things.
Library today.
Yeah, we're not going to, it won't be a live thing like this, but it'll be a breakdown. So it'll live in your library, your Jedi archives, whatever you have. So if things do come up in the future, like who's Dash Rendar? Well, here he is, and we'll break it all down for you. So we'll be working on some new content for the channel. So again, like and subscribe if you haven't. Tell a friend. Next week's Bring a Friend Day. So, which is
freaking Dash
happens Rendar. To be every day. So, with that, I think we're done, right? The outro's done.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we're good. Tashi Station is awesome.
Thank you.
They are.
Links in the description. Again, follow the channel. It's not. I'm not asking for I need to subscribe. No, just trust me. You want to follow.
And we are still trying to get to 5,000 followers in 2025.
Oh, yeah.
We are almost there. We are almost there. We just need a little push. Help us reach 5,000 subscribers in 2025. We would love it if you
by May 4th.
Oh shit, that's like really quick. I don't know if that's
double our efforts.
I hope so, Darth Mucha, for your sake. Grand Admiral Franz is not as forgiving as I am.
We hit 5,000. That Vader behind Franz is gonna be still there. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Everybody, thank you. Have a good night. With that, Scott.
Keep it nerdy, everybody.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.